All right, we're back here with Michael Angiletta of Secure Idaho, just going through the survey that he conducted with the ballot initiatives, getting people's feel on the ballot initiative. Michael, yeah, let's jump back into this here. I want to make sure we get the big points out here. What's the next slide, do you think?
Let's see. Go to the next one. If we'll have more time, we can go into this one, but go to the next one right here. Okay, this is a big one. So
okay, yeah,
right. This is actually a rather significant proposed change, right? Increasing the number of signatures to sign a petition from 6% of all registered voters to 15%. That's more than double. But you'll see about 55% of folks are in support of that, and a decided minority opposes that. So again, what is the underlying spirit and motivation behind the support for something like this? It's simple. They want broader representation before an idea gets onto the ballot. And they want broader representation, means from the ideological spectrum, and it means from the geographic and lifestyle perspective as well, rural versus urban.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, 6% to 15, and to me, that number makes sense. When I heard that you only needed 6%, I thought, man, they always say it takes 10% to make change, and we're allowing less than that to do that. So this is that's an encouraging sign that a lot more people think we should raise the percentage.
I'll give you a hint. If those geographic requirements, let alone those percentage signature requirements, were required of Proposition 1, at least given the efforts that they had assigned to it, they would not have qualified. Yeah. Just to give you an idea. Okay. Yeah. Now, this is interesting, though. So you have all these folks that saying, let's increase it from 6 to 15. But then you see, there's about an even number of people that support and oppose reducing the number of signatures. And I'll tell you what this is about. When you see this question in a vacuum, if you're not thinking about, well, how does the process currently work? You might interpret this question to say that, well, if you might be, I think I'm looking at the other question. Hold on a second here. I've got my slide here too. Reducing the number of signatures required overall. Hold on a second. I lost my train of thought.
Because we're comparing this to raising from 6 to 15, right?
This is what it is they still want what I'd call a fair representation. And what they're concerned is that one constituency might have to have more signatures than another, and that's not fair. And it's also a matter of fairness. So actually, if you go back one slide and maybe two, go back one more, this one. Okay. So if you recall, the majority of folks wanted to increase the geographic requirements, right? More LDs, more CDs. But then you see a response like this, eliminating geographic requirements for signature gathering, and there's slightly more people in support of that. So how can those two things be true? And this goes to somebody looking at a question like this and saying, well, we want everybody's signatures to count. We don't want you to exclude anybody's voice or signature when it comes to qualifying a ballot. So that's why you see what might appear to be a little bit of cognitive dissonance between the response here and then those same people saying, well, no, we want more LDs and more CDs to be represented in terms of getting an initiative on the ballot. Right. So they're actually somewhat consistent when you look at the underlying motivation and the responses here.
That's but I was also thinking that maybe it's also just a matter of education. Like, I don't think a lot of people know exactly what it takes. The whole, they have in their mind that they want to have a big voice, but they don't know that it's actually allowing for less people to have control. They want equality, but they don't. So it just comes down to a matter of education. I think we've done, or at least the state or whoever has done a poor job informing people how these things happen. And so I'm thankful for you to have done this survey to kind of point out some of those inconsistencies. But as bright as you guys are in trying to still weave, make it weave together and make it make sense, I think there's still a lot of education that needs to be had here. So we're about out of time. But can you kind of wrap up for me? What you want our viewers to do? I want them to make sure that they know where to find you guys and what they can do to help support your efforts here.
Yeah, and so the rest of the responses go into concerns about money, and I'll give you the three key takeaways. The first takeaway is, before voicing any concerns or being aware, to your point, of any concerns or being educated on the issues, 58% support it. So simply just scrapping it probably isn't an option at this time. However, when you look at the two big themes, which is concern about out-of-state funding, concern about accuracy of fiscal impact reporting. There's a lot of reform that can be done in terms of sunshine and in terms of how we manage the out-of-state funding for ballot initiatives. That's number one. And then number two is broad representation matters, right? Folks want to see more regions, more counties, more legislative districts heard before something is able to make it onto the ballot. So those are the biggest takeaways where a lot of reform is possible. And real quick, I guess the 30-second elevator pitch, some of you might have remembered we were Secure Idaho Elections. Now we're Secure Idaho. And our mission is essentially threefold. We want to advance three issues: election integrity. This is part of that. Campaign finance as it relates to out-of-state funding for ballot initiatives. And then the third is Idaho sovereignty. And that reflects exactly the wonderful segment between our talking that I just watched. I don't know if it was an ad or if you produced it, but it was wonderful. But that speaks exactly to Idaho sovereignty. It means honoring the 10th Amendment, preventing federal overreach. It also means protecting Idaho's cultural and moral autonomy. And so we're here to keep organizing the grassroots to be, as you will, an antidote to Reclaim Idaho. And we believe that Idaho does not need reclaiming, it needs securing at this point. And that's going to be our role moving forward.
Fantastic. Well put. All right. Well, thank you, Michael, so much for joining me. We'll have you back and keep tabs on this issue. And folks, we just encourage you to, what's the website now? Is it just Secure Idaho?
SecureIdaho.org. You got it. And you can find some of these poll findings if you go secureidaho.org/poll.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Michael. Good to see you. God bless.
Thank you. God bless.